first and foremost, you want to have a strong core. We've talked about this before. Pretty much all the movements, pretty much any movement you want to do, you want to have a strong core that you can engage so you can stabilize your body, so you can have purpose with your movement. Because if you don't have a strong core, then you might have purpose in your mind, but your body is not going to follow through.
That's awesome!
All right, so here we are in the last of our 5 basic human movement series. We're going to be talking about throwing today. Now, I like throwing. Everybody likes throwing. Throwing is one of those exercises or one of those movements that is really not like the other. You remember that song, one of these things is not like the other? That's kind of what we're talking about here. Now, just a review, the other 4 basic movements of the 5 basic human movements are walking, running, jumping, and climbing. All right, so walking kind of builds into running. If you can walk, you can pretty much run. If you can run, you can jump, and those 3 are pretty synonymous. Now, climbing is a little bit different, and throwing is a lot different. Climbing, obviously, you need your arms and your legs, and so same with throwing, and that's the reason why it's a little bit different. However, with throwing, I think you need just as much upper body strength as you have lower body strength to have an effective throw. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be talking about a few exercises that you can do to help strengthen your body. We're going to be talking about throwing in general, what you need, what the dynamics and the mechanics are for throwing, and of course, how you can prevent injuries when you are throwing. All right, so first, let's talk about it. Those 4 major muscle groups that are your shoulder cuff. All right, so you have your infraspinatus, your supraspinatus, your subscapularis, and your teres minor. Essentially what these do, they help stabilize your shoulder blade, your scapula, so that they can work in unison, in concert with your humerus or your shoulder, this arm bone right here. So we want those to work together, and you want them to be functioning as smoothly as possible. You want them to work in concert, as I said. So if you strengthen those shoulder muscles, then you should be able to have a nice, stable shoulder. So there's a couple exercises. There's actually a lot of exercises you can do to be a better thrower, but there's a couple exercises I want to mention that can help you with that shoulder stability and that can help you become a better thrower. All right, so first and foremost, you want to have a strong core. We've talked about this before. Pretty much all the movements, pretty much any movement you want to do, you want to have a strong core that you can engage so you can stabilize your body, so you can have purpose with your movement. Because if you don't have a strong core, then you might have purpose in your mind, but your body is not going to follow through. All right, so you want to have a stable core, especially when throwing. One thing that I like to do, we've talked about this before, planks. But one thing we have not talked about is a side plank. Now, side plank is great for your obliques. It helps you also stabilize your hips and, of course, your shoulder. All right, so it works those muscle groups. It helps stabilize your shoulders. It helps you make sure that you don't have any injuries or anything that's going to be not pulling from here to help stabilize the shoulder up here. All right, so you work your obliques, you work your lats a little bit, you work those delts, and that's going to help you stabilize your shoulder. Love side planks. Another exercise you can do, well, this is a 2-part exercise here because it's a Superman, but there's 2 versions of it. I like the Superman on the ground. You just lay on your stomach, bring your arms out in front of you, full extension, and you're going to bring your head, arms, and feet off the ground. Essentially, you're going to be trying to push your belly button down into the floor while everything comes off the ground. One thing you want to be mindful of, though, I see a lot of people do this when they do a Superman. They engage their cervical spine, all right? So what I'm saying is you want to keep your forehead facing down towards the floor when you're executing a Superman. You don't want to retch your neck up and start engaging your cervical spine because it doesn't like that, at least not from that position, all right? So another way you can do a Superman is on a TRX. Now, this is a great way to work on your shoulder mobility, all right? Obviously, it strengthens your body. You're doing a squat, you're going out full extension, and you're working your core, your abs, and your lower back. But it also helps you with your shoulder mobility because as you're going out full extension, you have to actually engage your lats as well as that supraspinatus that we talked about earlier, as well as your subscapularis to help keep your shoulder blades from rolling up, all right? Because that levator scapulae is going to want to pull your shoulders forward, but what we're going to do is going to engage that subscapularis and engage those rhomboids and help keep you, and you're going to bring your shoulders down as you reach your arms out full extension. All right, so last but not least, this is actually going to throw you for a loop here, but we're going to be talking about a lateral lunge. Yes, I did say earlier that any kind of throwing motion is going to involve not only your arms, but your legs. If at the very minimum, if not your legs, your hips. Why we're doing the lateral lunge is we want to strengthen your gluteus medius as well as your hamstrings, hip flexors, and your quads, all right? Because those are going to stabilize your hips as you're doing that rotation as you're throwing the ball. No matter how you throw, whether you throw it like a baseball, or you throw it like a football, or you're throwing darts, you're going to twist through your torso. So you're going to want to have hip stability. So a lateral lunge is a great exercise. You can do it with or without weights. If you're not familiar with the lateral lunge, I'd highly recommend you do it without weights. But you would take one leg, you step it out to the side, and you're going to go down to that leg that you're stepping to. So the thing about this exercise is that a lot of people, when they execute this exercise, they just automatically step out, and when they step out, their toes rotate out. And that's natural human movement. As we walk, a lot of people, they have their toes slightly outward. But what you want to do is you actually want to have your toes facing forward, so that when you're stepping out, you're actually getting all of your glutes. Because if you step out and then you have your toes rotate out to the side, it's actually more of a quad exercise. And you actually deactivate your glutes. Not completely, but you actually take your glutes out of the equation. So you want to make sure that your toes are facing forward, and you don't really want to worry about what's going on the other leg. You just want to make sure that you're stepping out, bending that knee that you're going towards, and making sure that you're trying to get to 90 degrees without bowing at the waist too much. All right, so those are 3, technically 4, exercises that I think that are going to help anybody strengthen their body for throwing. Now, as I said, throwing is one of those interesting exercises. It's not like your typical 5 basic human movements that actually uses your whole body. So as I did say before, there's a lot of exercises that can help you with throwing, but what we did here today is we talked about some exercises that are going to help stabilize your shoulder and maintain that longevity in that shoulder joint. So try these exercises out, help your throwing motion, practice throwing on your own. And of course, if you have any questions, or if you have any ideas on how you can help strengthen your throwing even more, feel free to leave those questions and comments down below in the comment section. I would really love to hear your feedback. Of course, your feedback helps us create more videos week after week, because when we hear from you, we listen, and we obviously put out content that relates to what you say. So keep filling up those comment sections. We'd love to hear from you at generalfitnesscompany.com. We have a 2-week free online training. So if you want to train with us, you can check us out at our website. Also, we'd love for you to subscribe to this channel so you can be notified every time we update our videos and answer your questions. All right? So we really do appreciate you watching and listening. And as always, keep good company.